A really quick story about my very, very first speaking engagement. Anybody hear this story before? So, Brad, have my very, very first speaking engagement is I'm gonna do this in a format as if I'm giving a speech as well, okay? So my very, very first speaking engagement was, I was in a cornfield in Iowa. And in that cornfield in Iowa, I asked God, I'm like, God, if you're real, I need proof. I was in a place in my life where things wasn't working. I was working the same job. I was tired of celebrating 50-cent raises over six-month periods. And after a while, I was like, there's more to my life than this. So I sat in the cornfield in Iowa and I said, God, if you're real, please show me proof. I'm sitting there expecting to see Mufasa in the sky or something. Something come up, remember who you are. And I'm like, yes! That didn't happen. There was a cloud that was kind of lion-shaped a little bit, but that didn't happen overall. But what come to my surprise is that I'm like, you know what, God? Whether you're real or not, I love you regardless. I love you regardless. I was walking to my apartment. I looked at my phone, and my uncle texted me. At that exact time, he texted me. He said, hey, I'm feeling inspired. I'm about to give you a call in a couple of minutes. And I'm like, okay, perfect timing. So I pick up the phone, and I'm like, hey, Uncle Neil, how's it going, Uncle Neil? He's like, man, I want to tell you about how much God loves you, how much God cares about you, how he's been in your life all these time, and he's just glad that you're back in his life. And I'm like, I hung up on him. I was spooked. I was scared because like, that timing of that, it just spooked my mind. So then as time went on, synchronicity started to happen. Like random things started lining up. I started seeing 11:11 everywhere, all of these things. And then so I go on Twitter and I started like, you know what? I'm not a speaker or anything, but I'm gonna go just motivate people. Because in my mind, my goal, my life goal was to be a manager of AT&T, the job. But the impossible thing was being a full-time motivational speaker, inspiring people for a living. That, in my mind, that was impossible. So I'm like, you know, if this whole our creator God stuff is real, let me use it for something that's impossible. Is it possible if I can be a speaker? So I go to Twitter, you know, change your life, you know, you can do good, you know, the man thinks he can, the man thinks he can't, both usually right, all of that stuff. A lady reaches out to me. And as she reaches out to me, she says, hey, you've moved me, you've inspired me. Would you please come to my office and I'd love to hear your story. So I go to her office. And I'm like, okay, this office is kind of interesting. There's American flags everywhere. It's all of these like political banners. And my first thing is like, I am not about to be at some type of, you know, political rally or anything. I'm not doing that. And she's like, well, I would like to introduce you to who I work for. I'm like, who do you work for? She says, Dr. Ben Carson. And I was like, Dr. Ben, like the presidential, who knows him? How many people here know him? Yeah, a couple of us know him. Well, no, yeah, know of him. Know of him. So people, she said that, and I'm like, I thought maybe I seen a commercial with him, I don't know. So I'm like, first off, I'm not political. I don't want to be Democrat, Republican, don't. And she's like, no. He's just as spiritual as you are. You guys are really connect. I go meet him. Turns out it was a commercial shoot for one of his campaign commercials. I didn't know that. So I'm talking to him, and there's like a camera like there, and everyone in the room except for me is actors. So I noticed people were just walking like this, back and forth. And I'm like, why are they doing that? Where am I? But it was a commercial shoot. I asked him one question. I'm like, listen, I heard a lot about you, but I have one question to ask you. Is this whole spiritual thing real? Is it all really real? And the only thing he said to me was like, listen, young man, you found the secret to success. And at that moment, it almost felt like my spirit like flushed in belief, like, wow, I'm actually on to something. So after that, I go home, a couple days go by, I call up Megan, the lady that connected me, and said, thank you so much for the connection. It was like a powerful introduction. I appreciate it. And she's like, perfect timing your call right now, because I was going to call you. I say, why? She's like, tonight is the Iowa caucus, and we don't have a speaker. Remember, I've never given a public speech before. I've never given a public speech before. So I'm like, so, okay, why are you telling me this? And she's like, well, won't you come speak? So I'm like, I'll call you back. I call my dad. My dad's a minister. I'm like, I'm scared, all this stuff, considerations. And he's like, son, because he loves preaching to me. He loves preaching. He's like, son, I got to tell you something. You know, you was called by God to do this. And when God calls you to do something, he equips you with what you need to get it done. He equips you. So the fact that you call, you are equipped already. You hear me? I'm like, I hear you, Dad. I'm feeling it. I get it. You know, I'm like, honestly, Dad, like, you should probably be the speaker for the night. Like, you should be the speaker. Because he was feeling this. I know when my dad is talking and standing up when he's talking. It's just a different energy. You know, I can see him. And And so I hit her up back and I said, okay, I'll be there. What time is it? 7 o'clock. Oh, it's 5:30. Okay, cool. I'll be there. I go there. She forgets to tell me that there's 700 people in the audience. She forgets to tell me that. She also forgets to tell me that I'm the speaker. My opponent was Donald Trump himself. He didn't have a speaker. He spoke for himself, of course. He got up there talking about making America great, making the country great, his usual spiel. I went up there and I said the way we make this country great again is we love each other. As we love each other, like love our neighbor, like it says in the Bible, the way we love ourselves. What if our idea of family branched out to everyone in our community versus just our household? The way I love my mom, the way I love my sister, what if I loved you guys that way? And what if we all did it together? If everyone did that in this country, the country is great. Yeah. Then after that, standing ovation. You know, everyone's happy. And that was my Iowa story. See? Notice everything that I did in that speech. Okay? How many people in here felt like I was giving them direct eye contact? Raise your hand if you felt like I was looking directly at you. Okay? See, notice every person in the room matters. When you're speaking, so many people speak like this. So my name is John, and I would love. It's a commercial. You know? What you want to do is you don't want to speak. You don't. You can let her in, Duke. Thank you. You do not want to speak. How's it going? It's all good. You do not want to speak to the crowd. You want to speak with the crowd. The key, you want to speak with the crowd. When you're speaking, you want to make sure that they're on your side. You know, right now, I can feel the interest level of everyone in this room. When you're a speaker, you have to give attention and care to each person as if you're talking to them one-on-one. And then sometimes, if you're in a room where the energy is a little stale, ask a question. Sometimes I'll pick out a random person just to stir the energy in the room. There was a speech that I gave, the Boys and Girls Club of America. They brought me in to give a speech. They had a graduation going on. And my role was pretty much to inspire the graduating class and all of their families to wish them the best success out in life and everything. That crowd was so just, it was a bunch of high schoolers and their parents. It was a little bit later at night. They wanted to go home. So I'm just talking, doing my deal. I'm feeling it and everything, and they're just looking. I feel the energy. I noticed that there's a couple of guys in the very front row. Sometimes when the crowd's not feeling you, they can feel someone in the crowd, so you use that to your advantage. So I said, hey, sir, tell me a random fact, tell me a random fact that most of us don't know. He stands up and he says, I did not know that fish can commit suicide. And everyone started cracking up just like that. And just from that energy of them cracking up, I was like, oh, that's hilarious. And the rest of that speech was phenomenal. People were in good spirits. Here's a secret. Get people to laugh early, and you can carry that energy throughout. See, don't you see that all you're doing is just harnessing energy with the crowd and moving the energy to where you want to go? You can make them be sad. You can make them be happy, make them be excited. Your energy is like a big net onto the entire crowd, and you want to take them wherever you want to take them. So that's what it is when you're a speaker. And mind you that just because you're a speaker, it doesn't mean that you don't have to be a motivational speaker. You can be speaking about your product. I know Kendry, she does makeup and skincare. Not makeup, skincare. Skincare. We make it. Skincare first. Yeah, skincare first. And I got some soap from her, and I smell good. That soap is helped me get the girl I got right now. Cause I had that soap on. I'm like, to say it's her. I'm like, how you doing? How's it? You feel like I kind of just get a whiff. Get a whiff. Yeah, exactly. So I would definitely say, how's it going, Dan? Feel free to have a seat. So I would definitely say that connect with her for all of the products and skincare and things of that nature, because it was absolutely amazing. So one thing I'm going to go over a little bit is about the classes. This introduction, I'm kind of briefly going over every little bit, but each class will be monthly. So this is the first one. It's just the introduction, okay? This is very light. I haven't even really given material yet. They're monthly. They're an hour and a half. They're always going to be interactive. Okay, they're always going to be interactive. And every week we'll have a different topic we'll focus on. You know, some of the topics I'll give in a couple of slides later, but every week we'll go dive in on a different topic. Because when you're a speaker, there's so many different dynamics that's all be playing at once. Like say, for example, Steve Jobs, okay? Someone says, Steve Jobs, you're not even a computer guy, you're not an IT guy. How are you Steve Jobs? He says, I'm not a computer IT guy, but I play the orchestra. I'm the orchestra, I orchestrate everything. When you're a speaker, you're orchestrating everything. Everything, your energy, aware of the crowd, how your eye contact, are you fidgeting, are you nervous, your energy that you have is going to, people see absolutely everything. When you're on stage, people see everything, and that's the key thing about it. But here's the thing, here's the secret. It's okay to mess up. Actually, I recommend you mess up. I recommend mess up. Because if you mess up, it makes you human. There's sometimes I'll be like, I'm actually just acting. I remember my topic. But I'm making it natural to show that I'm actually a human being. There's some speakers that I see, because I was a part of Toastmasters. I won the area championship in Toastmasters. I gave a TED Talk. I was part of the National Speaker Association and their academy and training and all those things. The professional speakers, the ones that usually win, are the ones that are the most human. The commercials are like they're perfect. They're like, how is it going today? We're this, and the ShamWow guy. Okay, that was a great advertising campaign and everything, but he got up as a speaker. Imagine him speaking for 2 hours. We'll just be, like it's just so much. You know, a dynamic speaker is a human, which you can go up and down and maneuver energy wherever you want to go, okay? So our next class, which would be right here, if you're up near North Kansas City, please talk with Blake because he's the chapter president up there. Our next class will be the power of your why in speaking. That's the next class. We're going to have an entire class focused on just the why, because for me, my why, what I'm up to, is not just a little motivation here and there. I'm literally, in my mind, world change, world peace is 100% possible. I know world peace is possible. How do I know? There's an experiment that's already been working that's been a simulation of world peace. Allow me to explain. There was a time where there was 13 colonies that were very separated, very isolated. They even had different currency. And sooner or later, they decided to come together as one. And although there's still crime and everything, they don't go to war with each other. This experiment is called the United States of America. Right now, Louisiana doesn't go to war with Florida. They've decided to become one nation, under God, indivisible. Now, we don't always act that. That's not practiced. But at the same time, we're a lot closer in just our nation just of itself than us compared to China or Russia, because they're still very isolated. So my strategy is to instill empathy and spirituality and love into governmental bodies. So my mind, if I can get big enough to talk to the people that can move countries and change things, it's not all of the people that it's the leaders. It's the leaders. If we could touch the heart of the leaders, the people will follow. And also, we touch the heart of the people, the leaders will follow. It's a double-edged sword. You see? So really, what I'm up to, I'm 20, 29. I'm up to world change. That's what I'm up to. And that's why I wake up every morning. That's why I'm speaking. So you have to find your why that makes you get out of bed. It has to be a huge mission. You got to have a huge mission no matter what it is, whether it's beauty to the world, whether it's speaking with executives and leaders, whether it's hearing people's eyesight. That's what he's doing, the eye doctor. Yeah, phenomenal doctor. I recommend everyone get your eyes checked out by him, because I just talking with him, I'm gonna get an appointment so I can walk out like an eagle. So if someone back in the crowd laughing at me, I see you. I see you. So it's the eye doctor. Your office is right over here, right? Yeah. Actually, you're on the spot. Could you stand up and tell us a little bit about what you do and who you are? Yeah, you want to come?
I'm Dan.
Yep.
I work as an optometrist in this shopping center. I stumble upon this networking body, and it's been a great resource. And one of the things that when I first met Alan, and I listened to many different speakers online, Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, top debaters, and I would put Alan up there with any of those individuals. So I'm really excited for what you're sharing. And if you know anybody who needs an eye doctor, I'm happy to provide information and services and education to any and all who will come.
Amazing. Thank you. Let's give it up for Dan. Thank you. I appreciate that. See, Dan, he's a person, I love him so much because he's the person that does it from his heart, and he actually cares about the people he's working with. You know, he doesn't fix eyes. He creates relationships with people and make people feel okay, and it just allows them to see in more way than one. But I was waiting on that. Is he? So now I'm gonna go over some of the future class topics. Okay, so this is the next one, but some of the class topics are gonna be like effective storytelling, stage presence, the business of public speaking, anxiety in speaking. Anxiety in speaking is gonna be a huge one. I know how many of us suffer from anxiety while we're speaking. That's one of the big ones. Maximizing effective communication in your business/mission, TEDx talks, humor, virtual presentations, how to speak around the country, and we're actually adding more as well. So you guys can have an entire platform on how to be the best speaker that you can be. And honestly, my personal opinion, if there's like a homework, I'm gonna give you guys a lot of homework, take home. Really think about your why. Why do you want to do it? Some people say, I want to help people. Go deeper than that. You know, you want to help people in what way? You know? And a lot of times, here's another secret. A lot of times the reason why we want to help people because we want to help the past version of ourselves that didn't get saved. We want to help a past version of ourselves that we feel like didn't get saved, and we have to get through that, and we want to prevent that. Some of us have been through such tragedies that we don't want no one else to go through that. And that's a why that's powerful enough. See? So all I'm saying is that finding that why is absolutely important.